Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Liam Rose. I'm an author, mentor, life coach, motivational speaker, evangelist, and musician. In this YouTube video and audio, I've been sharing the Christopher Liam Rose motivations to inspire people to learn about Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Buddha, to help people to be motivated, to help other people give back and make a difference, and to really inspire those people who really want to help others, give back, make a difference and a contribution, and learn about spiritual change, faith, and spirituality. Now, within this video and audio, I've got a very particular message that I want to share tonight. I know it's late, and I want to get this message online and share it to as many people as possible. Now, the audio and the video we're going to be talking about today is called The Future is Created. Now, I think I've explained this previously before in like books and videos and podcasts, and also in messages that I've shared in my podcasts, my videos, or my books, or my audios. But for today's audio and video, I just want to get the importance of this and share this to as many people as I can. Now, before we go into this topic, it's a very important thing to learn, right? Now, first of all, we have to start off with what's going on at the moment within society and within the world. If we don't start off there, then we can't understand the message. So, what's going on with society, with humanity, with the world at the moment? What really is happening for people? So, the challenges of this is very hard to find and learn about. It takes a lot of learning, a lot of studying. You have to be committed to learning and studying and really find this for yourself. Right? So, right now within the world, society, and humanity, there's a real thing that's going on. I've always called this suffering, pain, and adversity. There's people that are going through suffering, there's people that are going through pain, there's people that are going through adversity. Now, because the world's very busy with like social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and social media platforms, people don't look at the seriousness of this. It's very, very serious. So people are suffering, going through pain, going through adversity. Now, this is the problem of what life is happening for people at the moment. It's a massive problem, right? And as I explain this, it starts to make sense. Now, because people are suffering, going through pain, going through adversity, which is part of the civilization of what we're living at the moment, but some people just don't really see the importance of this, right? Those people that are living like that and their life is just suffering, pain, adversity, life problems, life difficulties, life challenges, not overcoming the situations and the circumstances, continuous just depression, unhappiness, sadness, misery, despair, just pure suffering, agony, pain, suffering, and adversity they experience. We need to be those people who help people like that and inspire people like that and support people like that. Now, I'm not saying to the listeners and the viewers this is going to be an easy thing because even for me to share it, it's been the hardest, one of the most hardest lessons I've had to learn within my life at such a young age. It's very, very difficult. If we don't help those people that are going through suffering, pain, and adversity, and challenges in life, we can't do what this audio and this video is basically talking about. The future is created. Now, I've explained the seriousness of what's going on in the world, society, and humanity at the moment. People are suffering, people are going through pain, people are going through adversity. So automatically that has to be changed, right? That has to be changed to help those people, to support those people, to care for those people, and to work with those people who are like that. Now, this is when things get a bit difficult for people to find in life. And I'm just explaining it simply just because I just want to share this to as many people as I can to get the message across. Now, when we think about people that are suffering, go through pain, go through adversity, difficulties, and life challenges, life problems, and situations within their life, and also circumstances within their life, when we really, really think about it, we start to see something that's very, very hidden, which a lot of people they can't because they can't pick it up within their life or discover this. They never learn the importance of it. We start to see people who are like that. I'm not, this isn't a judgmental thing for me to share. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I do understand how serious this is, how challenging it is, how difficult it is for people. But the hidden thing we start to see when we see people like that, very hidden. It's very, very hidden. It's very hard to really see this, right? Which takes a lot of learning and understanding to really learn. They're living selfishly, not because they choose to, not because they wanted their life to be like that, not because it's just how they are. It's just how life is for those human beings. They're living selfishly, right? Problem after problem, life challenge after life challenge, situation after situation, circumstances after circumstances, depression, unhappiness, despair, loneliness, difficulties, struggles, and challenges. So they're living selfishly because they haven't overcome their life problems, life challenges, suffering, pain, and adversity. Now, this becomes it's very hard to and people say, are you judging those people that have gone through life, suffering, pain, and adversity? I have no reason to judge people who have gone through suffering, pain, and adversity. I'm not judging those people. I'm really not like that. It's not how I work and it's not how I do the things I do. So I'm not judging those people that have gone through that. It's part of their life. It's how their life is, and that's how their life is. But what I'm trying to get across in this audio and video today is something so important. You have to learn this right now within your life. It's so important. So when I say the future is created, what does that mean? What is that all about? What do you mean the future is created? I don't, I don't necessarily have a future. Uh, I'm not in employment. I'm not working at the moment. I don't have a family. I don't have children. Um, I'm not able to support myself, look after myself. I'm going through a lot of difficulties, suffering, pain, adversities, and that's my life. For millions and billions and thousands and hundreds of people, that is how their life's going to be because they didn't go through a change. They didn't learn how to overcome the suffering pain and adversity. They didn't learn about the future is created. So, what does it mean to say the future is created? It means that I'm just going to explain this very, very briefly. And I hope this video is helping so far because, and it's audio, because once you've learned this, like once you've learned this important audio and video, then your life will change slowly just by learning. So, what does it mean the future is created? What is that all about? What does that mean? Does it mean you live in suffering, pain, and adversity? You're unable to deal with your life problems, life challenges, situations, circumstances? But does it mean you've overcome that? You've transcended that? You're not living like that. And you're not, which is the very important thing to learn. You're not living selfishly. You are going to be living spiritually and selflessly, not selfishly, but selflessly. So, what is the future? What is the future is created? The future is created for those people who can change. I don't want to explain this in rude terms or in confusing ways. The future is created for those people who can change. I'm not saying you can't have a family because some people have a family and some people do. I'm not saying you're not gonna have employment. Some people do, some people don't. I'm not saying you're not gonna achieve your dreams and desires. Some people do, some people don't. All I'm saying is the future is created for those people who can change. So what is change? It comes back to that. What is change? Now, I think I've explained what is change in about thousands of videos, hundreds of audios, messages, books, podcasts, and things that I've been talking about. I've actually explained it so many times, right? I want to get the message across tonight. That's the whole reason why I'm sharing this audio video. So the spiritual change is the spiritual change within the psyche and the psychological mind. The spiritual change within the psyche and the psychological mind. Now, why does this become so important about in the future is created? Now, because hundreds and thousands and millions and billions of people are going to go through suffering, pain, and adversity because it's just part of their life and they haven't overcome it in their life or transcended it. To find the future is created, you will have to go through a spiritual change with the psyche and the psychological. What does it mean when your psyche and your psychological mind changes? It means you change your thinking, you change your thoughts, you change your behavior, you change your personality, you change the way you live, you change your mentality, your skills, your qualities, your abilities, the things that you're doing within your life. If that change of the thoughts and the thinking doesn't come into your life, and it's the hard look, no one's gonna say that changing the thoughts and the thinking isn't very difficult. It's always a difficult thing because life is about what you think, and life is about thinking most of the time. So life is always about what your thoughts are and your thinking is, right? You're thinking to eat, you're thinking to go out, you're thinking to socialize, you're thinking to work, you're thinking and have thoughts to do things. You're always thinking and having thoughts, thinking and having thoughts and having thinking. And the process is the ongoing like cycle. You're thinking, having thoughts, you're thinking. And it's just an ongoing cycle that never seems to end. But what future is created is all about is overcoming your own thinking, overcoming your own thoughts, overcoming the. I have written a book about it, which I could share, which is called "How to Overcome Overthinking, Ruminating, and Negative Thinking." So there is a book that I've written about this specific topic already, right? I've just sent it in the audio and the video today. So a book which is called "How to Overcome Overthinking, Ruminating, Negative Thinking." So when I say the future is created now, it basically means that you overcome your thinking, overcome your thoughts. You find something that is very, very, I just call it important for you. So what happens when you change your thinking, you change your thoughts? You start to not live selfishly. You start to live selflessly. But it starts from changing your thoughts and changing your thinking. Right now at the moment, we see like different services and there's thousands and millions of services that support people and help other people. That doesn't necessarily mean you've changed your own thinking and your own thoughts. Just because there's people helping other people giving back and making a difference, which there's organizations, charities, foundations, and places that do that. That doesn't necessarily mean you've changed your own thinking your own thoughts. So the changing of your own thinking and your own thoughts need to change before you do this within your life. Help other people, give back, make a difference, and make a contribution. If your thoughts and your thinking doesn't change within your psychological mind and within your psyche, your whole being of who you are as a human being, then it means you haven't gone through the process of spiritual change, right? And this is what becomes so simple about this audio and about this message. Spiritual change isn't, it's very simple to find out. It's not a difficult thing to find, right? It's very, very simple to find. Spiritual change. You change your thinking and your thoughts. Spiritual change. What makes a human being is the psyche of who they are, the actual human being of who they are as a human being. And then this psychological. The psychological mind is your thoughts and your thinking pattern. That is basically where it is, how you think, how you behave, your thoughts, what you do, your actions, your intentions, your beliefs, your morals, your values, the things that you're thinking about or you have thoughts about. So that has to change. If that doesn't change, then you haven't gone through a process of spiritual change because when you spiritually change, you're not thinking about your thoughts. You're not thinking about your thinking. You've transcended that, overcome that, and you live selflessly. So that is what the future is created is all about. If you do want a future, which I'm not scaring the viewers, I'm not scaring the listeners. I'm just making this video and audio for as many people who want to watch it and listen to the message. But the message is, if you do want a future, and the future is not necessarily what people think it is. A lovely family, wonderful children, a massive house, beautiful cars, financially freedom from financial worries, relationships, friendships, bigger successes, bigger achievements, bigger accomplishments. That's not the spiritual change that I'm talking about. To some people, they might find that as that just sounds so odd because though I desire that bigger family, though I desire more children, though I desire a nicer car, though I desire a bigger real estate or house, though I desire clothes and a motorbike, friendships and relationships. You can have those desires, which is fine for people to have. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with those desires. It's good to live your life when you have those desires. Of course, it always is a good thing to have a family, to have children, to have a house, a car, clothes, possessions, food, drinks, socializing, friends, relationships. It's good to have that if that's something you want. But if you want to really get to what the future is created is all about, this is what it's about. The future is created for one reason. There's only one reason for it. Until you've discovered this reason, and I'm not trying to be rude in the audio and the video, just like getting the message across and sharing it as to as many people as I can who want to listen to the message and listen to the audio. Until you find the future is created, you create your future. Not anyone else, not another person, not your family, not your children, not your employment, not your career, not your business, not your volunteering, not your friendships, relationships, partner, spouse, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. You create your future. And you can only create your future when you help other people, give back, make a difference, make a contribution. So the future is created as a special thing for those people. It's very special. It's very, very special. Very, very special. Because for, like I said already in the audio and the video already, there's hundreds, thousands, millions, and billions of people who didn't overcome their suffering, who didn't overcome their pains, who didn't overcome their adversity, who are still living in suffering, pain, and adversity, life problems, life challenges, life situations. They haven't overcome it. They haven't transcended it. They haven't gone over it. They're still living it. So for my message and for my audience, very simple. I always try to get the message across. The future is created for those people. Basically, it's just as simple. Help other people, give back, make a difference, make a contribution. If you help other people, give back, make a difference and a contribution, which is important. I'm not going to explain how important it is. It's very important. The future is created. You create your own future. You don't necessarily have to be in a business or a job or career or a relationship or achieve success, prosperity, riches to just learn that. You create your own future. You're creating your own future. Create what's important for you. Now, people say, what is important to me? It must be my family, isn't it? It's got to be my children, isn't it? It's got to be my employment. It's got to be my business. It's got to be my volunteering. It's got to be my friendships, my relationships. That could be important to some people if they haven't learned the future is created. Because when you find the future is created, it changes your thinking and your thoughts. And when you change your thinking and thoughts to the future is created, you create a new future, a new inspiration, a new motivation, a new encouragement. Something that is very, very, very important for that individual. So I'm not saying to people don't get your relationships. If that's something you want, then get your relationships. I'm not saying to people don't be married, don't have children. If that's what you want, then please do that. I'm not saying to people don't have a job, don't have a career, don't have a business, don't have a volunteer opportunity. If you want it, then go ahead and get it. I'm not telling people don't have friends, relationships, socializing. That's what you want, then go ahead and do that. But when you live, and it goes back to what I said in the very beginning of the audio video, when you live selfishly, that's what's happening at the moment for millions of people. Just gonna repeat that again before we nearly finish. When you live selfishly, you're only going to live selfish. So something will need to change within your thinking and your thoughts to live selflessly. And when you live selflessly, what does it mean? It means this: the no self, selflessness. The no self and selflessness comes to those people who live selflessly. They're not selfish. They don't worry about family, friends, houses, cars, money, children, possessions, holidays, food and drinks, or socialize. They're never a part of that. That's why it's so important to realize the future is created. And what does it mean the future is created? You create it every single day. Because it goes back to the messages that I've been sharing previously in my audios, my videos, my books. The future is created every single day. So every single day, if you've learned how important it is, you'll be doing this, helping other people, giving back and making a difference. So it's every single day. And when you learn it's every single day, it doesn't mean you're rude. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It doesn't mean you just have your suffering, pain, and adversity, you have overcome it. When you've got to this point, and only a few people can get to this point. I'm not saying this is for everybody. I've explained it in videos and books before. Like I really have. Like in what I've been just doing in my life, I've explained it in videos, books, and audio so many times. Right? This is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's not for every human being. Some people they can't learn it because there's either a situation that's happened in their life, they something in their life is preventing them to just learn. So what's the reality? You need to learn it. When your thinking and your thoughts change, that is when your life changes. It even goes back to the first chapter of my book of how to overcome overthinking, ruminating, negative thinking. Spiritually change your thinking, spiritually change your life. Again, spiritually change your thinking, the thoughts, spiritually change your life. You spiritually change your thinking and thoughts, then you spiritually change your life. So basically, what it is, spiritual change. That's what becomes important. Like I said, look, I'm not saying that it's going to be an easy thing to do. That changing your thinking and your thoughts is there's nothing more harder than that because we live with our thinking, we live with our thoughts, we live with our actions, we live with our beliefs, we live with our intentions, we live with our morals and values. We always live with that. But if you don't change your thinking and your thoughts, you can't spiritually change your life. So that's what has to change. That has to change before you do anything else. That is the most important thing in life of all. Change your thinking and thoughts. Now, just before we finish, and I'm gonna end the video and audio just shortly. Just one more thing. If you don't spiritually change your life, then you don't spiritually change your thinking and your thoughts. So that's what has to change. Nothing in life changes unless you've gone through a change. That's what a lot of people say. That's what a lot of basically inspirational things that have been shared. Nothing in your life changes until you have changed. If you haven't changed, then your life will not change. So everything comes basically back to change. How are you going to change your life? What are you going to do? How are you going to live your life? That's the question, is how are you going to live your life? What are you going to do? How are you going to change? What can you do? Now, just before we finish, change doesn't have to be discussed in books. Change doesn't have to be discussed in audios, videos, or podcasts. Change doesn't have to be discussed in employment, jobs, careers, or volunteering, or business. It doesn't have to be discussed. It's something within you already. Each human being has it. You don't have to. You don't. You don't have to work harder to get it. There's no. I have to achieve more before I can change. I've got to work. It's like I've got to work harder before I can. It's got nothing to do with that. To be very serious, it's got nothing to do with effort, working hard, keeping on going in that sort of way. Like just that constant grinding and working and hustling and grinding and working and hustling. That's what your life comes in. It's like it's a never ending hamster wheel, right? You're just running, and not reaching anywhere. That's why your life has to change. And if your life doesn't change, then your whole life doesn't change. So the change is what becomes important. You don't need to read it in a book. You don't need to listen to it in an audio. You don't need to read it or listen to it in a book or audio or podcast or a message. That's not the important thing of it. It's already within you already. You just have to discover that. If you don't discover that like I said earlier within the audio and video already, there's hundreds, there's thousands, there's billions, there's even billions of human beings who are still suffering, going through pain, going through adversity, going through life problems, life challenges, life difficulties that haven't overcome their life. So it goes back to what I said, isn't it? They will live selfishly. You like that? The only way your life really changes. This there's nothing more important than the change you have to go through. Basically, it's just that important. There's nothing more important than that. Nothing is more important than the change you have to go through. Nothing is more important than that. Nothing is more important than that. There is nothing that's more important. The change you have to go through is the psyche, the psychological. That's the change you have to go through. Now, for some people, it'll take a long time to get to that point. You get that, you understand, yeah? For some people, it'll be a journey of life itself. There's no human being, right, that doesn't need to discover this. We all need to discover this because it goes back to what I said in the audio and the video already. The future is created. The future is created by what you do today. Can I repeat it just one more time before we finish? The future is created by what you do today. So if your thinking and your thoughts doesn't spiritually change, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to change your life. So you've got to change your thinking and your thoughts. And what do spiritual people really focus on? The change. Not the house, not the car, not the money, not the children, not the business, not the employment, not the volunteering, not possessions, not holidays, not friendships, not relationships, not income, not money, not finance. They don't focus on that. It's not their focus. What they truly focus on for the spiritual people is the change you have to go through. All human beings have to go on that change. Each human being has to go on that change. You don't live selfishly when you have gone through a spiritual change with the psyche and the psychological. You don't live selfishly. That goes back to what I said earlier in the audio and the video already. You will live selflessly. You will change. That is the change of your life. So the no self and the selflessness is the change of your life. That is the change of your life you have to go through. Each human being has to go through it. So just gonna finish now before I talk even more about the subject. The future is created for those people who basically help other people give back and make a difference. You create your own future. You create who you want to become, what you want to do, who you want to be. You don't need to answer to anybody once you create your own future. You're creating your own future every single day of your work and your actions. Doesn't have to be discussed in an audio. Doesn't have to be discussed in a book. Doesn't have to be discussed in a video. Doesn't yeah, actually, to be very honest, it doesn't have to be talked about because it's important for you as an individual, for your own life. So spiritual change is what life is all about. It's the spiritual change you have to go through, and each human being has to find it. Like I said, it's already within you. All human beings have it. You just have to find it within yourself. That takes a lot of learning. Learning is part of what I'm talking about. You have to learn. If you don't spend time learning, then you will never know who you are. And it goes back to that, who you are as a human being. Your skills, your qualities, your gifts, your talents, the work, and the things you want to do. You will need to learn that. And it goes back to what I've said in audios and videos before. In life, everything is a learning process. Even this video, this inspiration that I'm sharing tonight, is still a learning process. You're learning as a human being. You're learning if that's what you choose to do. You're learning. So with the learning, it's important to go for a change. Change is what life is really all about. If you want the future to be created within your own personal life, and I'm not telling people follow this YouTube video or just this person to figure out. Find it in your own life. Find it for yourself. Find what's important for you. And if you find what's important for you, then that should be the thing you do in your life. There should be no debates about it, arguments about it, anger or frustration towards it, resentment or bitterness towards it, or suffering, pain, and adversity from it. It should be just your life. And when you get to the point where it's just your life, it's how your life is. You are selflessly helping other people, then you may spiritually help other people. Just before we finish, and I'll finish just after this. To get to this point of the future is really creative. There's two ways of actually doing it. I've explained this in videos and audios before so many times in my content and my audios, podcasts, and things that I've shared. There's just these are the two real ways of really getting to the future as creative. If you want to find it within your life and see what this message is about. So just before we finish, there's the five spiritual practices: prayer, meditation, mindfulness, walk, journal. Do the five spiritual practices, discover who you are. Once you've changed and you've gone through a process of change, for me, I'm only talking about change. I'm not talking about anything other than change. Just change. That's what I'm talking about. Once you've done the five spiritual practices, then you do the five levels of helping other people. Level one, volunteering. Level two, jobs, careers, employment. Level three, business and entrepreneurship. Level four, faith and spiritual. Level five, spiritually helping other people. You help other people. You go for a spiritual change. The five spiritual practices: prayer, meditation, mindfulness, walk, journal. You do the five levels of helping other people: volunteering, jobs, careers, employment, business, entrepreneurship, faith and spiritual. Spiritually helping other people. Helping other people. Then that's when your future will be created. You'll be able to live the life you want to live, spiritually free, spiritually liberated. And this is when it gets to the point in the conversation and the audience. What is spiritual freedom and spiritual liberation? What is that? Spiritual enlightenment. You become awakened. You find who you are, your gifts, your talents, your skills, your work, your abilities, your qualities. So the spiritual enlightenment comes from a spiritual change of the thinking and the thoughts. If you change your thinking and the thoughts, then your life will change. If your life doesn't go through that process, like I've explained it very simply in the audio today, you will be like the millions, the hundreds, the thousands, and hundreds of people who are still going through suffering, pain, and adversity because they never transcended it. They didn't overcome it. They haven't moved from it. They're still living in it. So I know this is a very simple video. It's very, very simple. The future is created, but the meaning that it has can give you so much more. I hope this audio and this video was helped today. I've only spent a bit of time talking about it, but just remember, the future is created for those people who change. And if you change, then you create your own future. It is a message when I say that, I'll finish it after this. You create your own future. What does it really mean? You're the author and the master of your own personal life. You're creating your own future. That will get remembered. That will get appreciated. That is where we call the essence of appreciation, gratitude, love, kindness, compassion, empathy, generosity, and humanity in people. Because you went on the journey of a change. You went on a journey of spiritual freedom, spiritual liberation. You went on a change of spiritual enlightenment and spiritual awakening. You went on a journey. So you will be appreciated. And when you're appreciated, that's when all of your life changes. All parts of your life. I could spend another couple of hours talking about it, but all parts of your life change when you know you're appreciated. Okay, I finished the audio and the video now. I'm happy to just make this audio and video today. It has taken a bit of time, but I hope this helps somebody today. Whoever listening to it, watching the video, if you want more of my content, I'm on YouTube. Just type in Christopher Lee and Rose Motivations, podcast, audios. Sorry, and you can find my videos, find my content, and it's available. Just remember, the future is created for those people you're going to change. The change is the motivation. The change becomes very important. The change. Focus on the change you have to go through, which is different for each human being. Then you create your own future. You'll be able to create it. You can live your life creating your own future, being who you want to be without no worries, no suffering, no pain, no adversity, no difficulties, no challenges. You can create your own future and live your life being selfless, no self, and making a contribution, which is very important. So thank you for listening now. I'm going to finish the video and audio there. Take care now. Have a good evening. Bye now. Thanks.